Today, Bryan Kohberger is expected to change his plea to guilty on 4 counts of murder and a burglary charge in the killing of 4 University of Idaho students in November of 2022.
The 30-year-old has reportedly agreed to a deal that will put him in prison for the rest of his life. And Tyson White joins us now live from the Ada County Courthouse, where media is showing up. People are lining up to get into that courtroom. He has a look at what is expected this morning. Tyson.
Yes, Maggie, Justin, there are folks lined up out here in the courthouse plaza out here this morning. About 10 to maybe 15 folks have lined up to get in. And then, of course, there's all the local, regional, and national media parked out here on the plaza to cover this case today as well. Now, you mentioned Kohberger is expected to be in court around 11 o'clock this morning. And it's at that time that we'll expect to hear all of the details that are included in that plea agreement. And, well, it came as a surprise to some folks following this story. So the type of agreement doesn't happen without a lot of consideration. Both prosecutors and Kohberger's defense team have spent the time assessing their cases and their strategy for trial and have come to an agreement that Bryan Kohberger will plead guilty to all charges, be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences, and waive his right to appeal. Boise attorney Tara Malik said prosecutors look at the risks of putting this case in the hands of a jury, the risk of not getting a conviction, or if there is a conviction, as well as the lengthy appeals process. Malik says the victims' families and their wishes are also an important consideration.
They have to be consulted and kept in the loop. They have victims' rights. They have statutory rights there. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the prosecutors don't represent a single family or a single victim. They represent the state. And so they have to do what is in the best interest of all in this scenario.
Probably the biggest piece of this plea agreement, or the one that caught my eye, is that he will waive, if what we understand to be true, that he would waive all rights to future appeals. How significant is that, and how unusual is it?
Well, it's very significant, especially in this type of case where we were looking at potentially a death penalty case. Death penalty cases, as most people are probably aware, there are lengthy appeals. You could be wrapped up in appeals for decades. There are rights, appeal rights that an accused has. And so it's a significant condition, if it indeed is part of this plea arrangement or agreement, that there is a waiver of those rights. That's a lot of time, it's a lot of cost, it's a lot of uncertainty that goes entirely away.
Now, during the hearing scheduled for, again, 11 o'clock this morning, all the details of the plea agreement are expected to be shared with the court, and it's ultimately up to Judge Stephen Hippler to accept that agreement. Now, if Judge Hippler accepts that plea agreement, the next steps will be a sentencing hearing, and that could be a few weeks away still. And back out here at the Ada County Courthouse again, folks are lining up, getting ready to find a seat for that hearing today at the Ada County Courthouse. And again, those seats are limited, and of course, we'll be streaming that as well as the court streaming it here from the courthouse this afternoon. This morning at 11 o'clock. Maggie, Justin, we'll keep on top of things out here, and we'll bring you another update in about a half an hour.
All right. Thank you, Tyson. And of course, the families of those victims will have reserved seating inside that courtroom. We also want to mention the Kohberger family attorney has released a statement, and they don't talk to the media very often, saying in part, "We will continue to allow the legal process to unfold with respect to all parties and will not release any comments or take any questions."
We will, of course, be live from the Ada County Courthouse for that hearing today. Again, that's going to start at 11 a.m. At least that's when it's scheduled. You can watch on Channel 7, KTVB.com, and on KTVB Plus. That's an app you can download right to your TV. We'll also bring you the latest updates in all of our newscasts.
All right, at 6